So I don't know if I'm visible and if I'm audible, but the thing is, this is going to be a very quick session, or at least that's what I hope, because I have to sleep. So let's talk about muscle. Muscle is something that we need to work hard to maintain, but it also pays back very well. All of this is well established. There's a lot of literature published proving that more muscle equals to healthier life. Working out literally stops cancer and many other issues. But yeah, the thing is, let's talk about why human body requires muscle in the first place. Muscle is like the basic mechanical lever. Like imagine, like our bones are the levers, and then you need strings that hold it. You need tension to move these strings, like move these levers up and down, right? So that's the purpose of muscle. Muscle acts as a medium to transfer the force from one part of the bone to another part. So the bicep, it creates tension to contract. And like you see, the architecture would be something like this. The muscle is connected to the bone through a ligament, and the bones are connected to each other through tendons, if I'm not wrong. And it's actually equally important to train all of this stuff if you want to be good at some sport or something. Let's say you want to get good at jumping high, you need a good ligaments, you need decent muscle strength, and you need a lot of like tendon stiffness. Uh, so tendons, they act like springs that can store force. And so, like, yeah, tendons are something that we can talk about in a separate stream. But as it comes to muscle, we know its main task is to generate and transfer force. Okay, so basically, it's just mechanical tension. Anyone who has done mechanical engineering can actually easily tell out all this shit about muscles, why they are important and everything. Or else you need to ask a biologist. I'm neither, I'm a computer science guy. But yeah, so muscle, okay. 3 minutes into the stream, or 2:48. Okay. So muscle, let's say there are three types of muscle. Not it's not me saying this, it's established. There are three types: type 1, type 2A, and type 2X. So what is type 1? These are the muscles that help you run longer. I think they are called as slow twitch muscle fibers. So muscle, it has a fibrillar structure, and it's stacked on top of one another in layers. So hypertrophy, that is the size of muscle, is when you either increase the size of these layers or you add more layers on top of each other. So those are the two different kinds of hypertrophy you have, and both have their own benefits. One will increase your potential for max force, and the other will actually increase the output within the cell. Like you can have the same amount of muscle fiber, but you can get a higher output. It's more like CNS efficiency. I don't need to create new muscle fibers. Actually, creating new muscle fibers takes a lot of time. And then again, bringing them to max efficiency, that's like a lot of work. So, like both of them, you can not bias them. You'll get both kinds of hypertrophy. And yeah, so type 1, type 2A, type 2X, these three types, right? Type 1 is the one that helps us run, that helps us do cardio. Basically all the muscles you use in long distance running, triathlons, marathons, everything. Basically what human nature is meant for us. Because we are endurance freaks. We can run for days without taking a rest, actually. That's not the case with other animals. You take long distance running, humans are the one species that dominate every other. At around, like, you see, Maybe like the only thing that would beat us would be something like a huge as fish, and even then those two get tired. I'm getting out of context, but yeah. So how do you train them? You just run longer, or you know alternate the tempo. Like you have cardio zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. Basically it's intensity. Zone 5 is very intense. You can't it's high effort. You can't maintain it for more than 15 seconds at most, assuming you are a peak genetic outlier. Okay. Zone 4 is submaximal, maybe 30 to 45 seconds. Zone 3 is not easy but not hard. Zone 2 is, you start getting slight discomfort. And zone 1, it's conversational pace. If you ask someone like Kipchoge, the guy who ran a marathon in under 2 hours, he'll say the zone 2, zone 3 is also conversational pace. But for most humans who are not outliers, it's not. So you can train that by running, and also it will actually help your cardiovascular health by increasing the efficiency of your heart in pumping the blood. So because of that, the byproduct would be like increased efficiency of the heart, as I said, because of which your body learns to use oxygen better, and you can work out for longer. So that's one of the reasons why you're supposed to do cardio. And also, cardio is actually cool. People used to shit on it for no reason. Say comes from the guy who hates doing cardio. I hate cardio, but cardio is actually cool when you do it right. It's not this running on the fancy treadmills and all. You need to find a proper place, like go to a ground and you start running on the mud. It's so good because your joints are not taking any stress, and you're getting exposed to the environment. It's good on so many levels. You're running, so your oxytocin levels, your serotonin levels, they hike up. There are a lot of hormonal benefits for that. So cardio, it's useful for multiple reasons: cardiovascular health, hormonal health, and then you can also like improve your efficiency while doing strength workouts. So those are three big reasons. Cardio is actually a net positive. It was always been a positive. Now compare that to something like hypertrophy training, strength training. Okay. So as I said, type 2A and type 2X. So the previous one, slow twitch fibers, they are long distance endurance. They don't get tired easily and all, right. These are known as fast twitch fibers, and they get tired very easily. You can't expect continuous output for them for extended period of time. They have a short span. So basically, we hear all about rep ranges, right? 1 to 6 is strength rep range, and 6 to 12 is hypertrophy rep range. 12 plus, it builds muscle endurance and all. But the thing is, it's all bullshit actually. You can build muscle with any rep range. You should just be able to do that, which is a huge task in itself. The thing is, why do we say rep range 1 to 6 is strength based and rep range 6 to 12 is hypertrophy based and all? So type 2A is fast twitch controlled, if I'm not wrong, and type 2X is fast twitch explosive. So 2X fibers, they are more explosive than 2A. 2A, they are more hybrid. They are a mix of endurance as well as explosiveness. So you actually, I do weightlifting where we have high emphasis on maximizing our 2x and 2a efficiency. But like if you take a two powerlifting is actually good. If you take a 2a lifter who is much more like 2x people, the people who are explosive, they can do deadlifts much faster than others, they can make the weight look light and easy, but after they do their one heavy single, they're burnt out and they can't do for the rest of the tournament. So it's like it's max output. After that, there's nothing left in the tank. That's the kind of thing that 2x leaves you with. It's basically bone dry. It gives you strength all at once, and after that it sleeps. There's a dip, max output, then rapid slump. That's not the case with the 2a. 2a biased individuals, they can perform even after heavier sets. So 2a, it's more about work capacity. They have higher work capacity than 2x. uh, so there's actually a bunch of questions, which you can answer, and based on that, you can determine whether you're 2x biased or 2a biased. Most people, they are biased towards one side, but not massively. You take me, I'm more like a 55-45 bias. I'm more biased towards explosiveness, but I have never trained it actually. And my work capacity is shit. So I love my coach actually about this point. He noticed that one thing and he never spoke about it. I never spoke about it. We never spoke about it. But at the end, uh, we got into a GVT, German volume training phase, which I am going through right now. Though I tend to go off program for my squat sometimes because I need a heavy intensity exposure. But the during the GVT, what it fixes is it fixes my work capacity. He gives me 10 sets of 10 reps at 60 kgs or 70 kgs. And the thing is, I end up doing it because I have no other option. I'm scared of my coach, kind of, but I also respect him. But I also don't know the limits of my body. So, yeah, like 2x, they are trained well in the low rep range because, you can't push them, you can't force them to generate output after the 1 to 6 rep range. 6 is very generous estimate. If you can maintain explosiveness till the 6th rep of your deadlift or of your squat, then you're not truly explosive at that weight. Like if your 1 rep max moves very well, and after that you can't move even another kg added to the bar, that's your true explosive range. Like these people make PRs look easy, 2x people, but 2a people, they grind, but they can lift heavier PRs and look more cooler, comparatively on reels. Both are sort of a flex, especially coming from this Instagram culture and all. But yeah, and 2a, it's, as I said, hybrid, so it works well with high intensity and high volume. Like a balance of intensity and volume. High intensity, high volume will kill you. That's more like Bulgarian. Bulgarian, you max out every day. Bulgarian system. So you max out your squat, you max out your pull, max out your clean, you max out your snatch or whatever stuff you're doing. If you're doing deadlift, you max it out every day. Something not advised for beginners, intermediates, and advanced lifters. Some stuff only works at elite level, and at elite level, whatever shit they do, even without that, they can do perform the same because they are elite, anyways. The method doesn't make elite athletes. Elite athletes make the method work for them because they are elite. So that's one misconception that people need to get out of not my mind, of their minds. Because you see that guy does that, so why can't I do that? That's one of the worst things you can go after when you're in strength training. Actually, this is one important thing. Okay, this is something we need to talk about. So uh, most of the elite athletes training revolves around their injuries and all. uh, Personally, I feel this. I am not an elite athlete, but yeah, I have injured my wrist, because of which I can't put weight overhead. So right now I'm only doing technique work with a stick for my snatch. I can do basic strict press. I don't have a front track, so I'm doing cross-handed front squats. I'm doing lots of back squats. I can do pulls. That's where my work ends. I can do deadlifts and I can do pull work, accessories and all. So that's where my capacity ends. So my training right now revolves around working around my injury. At elite level, they have much more serious injuries and all. So their programs are also built to work for them around their injuries. So it's very wrong of someone to assume that someone is elite because of their programming. They're elite because they're meant to be elite. They have worked their ass off for that position. Imitating that won't get you there. You have to put in your own work. You have to find out what works for you. It works for them because they have built it especially around their own issues. So you do the same, you won't get the same output because you're not injured the same, you're not having the same genetic disposition. Now you take people like Thor Bjornsson or Eddie Hall, probably, or Colin Engelbrecht, I guess, is that his name? I don't remember. uh, but yeah, like these people, they are freaks. You will never match them. They get half of your subtotal, your subtotal is your squat and bench combined, right? The deadlift is more than many people's subtotal. So like there's no way you can compete with people like them, but you can reach a maximum genetic potential. That's what is good about muscle training. And like you can get stronger as you get older until your 30s, maybe up to your 35s. And if you're lucky enough, you can maintain that strength throughout your life up to your mid 50s and 60s. After which, muscle loss starts kicking in. I think it starts from 30s itself if you don't train. Like I see people walking around, skinny arms, skinny, like if winds start blowing at like 15 to 16 kmph, they start flying away. That's how light they look. And they wear baggy clothes, they start flying like parachutes. That's what I get in my mind. You don't want to be that guy, at least in my perspective. It's better to be uh, obese and work on yourself than to be skinny and not work on yourself. Skinny people think they are happy, they are fine, they are better than everyone else, because they have abs for some reason. They have abs because they don't eat. It's literally the body crying for food. I've seen quite a lot of skinny people. I have quite a few friends who are skinny, ultra skinny. So yeah, like 2x, highly explosive, but low work capacity. So you can bias it only in the first 4 reps at most. I can say, only 1 or 2 reps work to train your explosiveness and peak strength expression while being explosive. And you can't teach a 2A biased guy to be explosive or a 2x biased guy to be much more grinding and all. Some sports they need a lot of 2x biasing, especially sports where they force you to do plyometrics. It's because they want to bias or improve your 2x capacity. I still don't understand how that works. But basically any game where they're throwing stuff, like you take shot put, you take javelin, you take discus throw, you take uh, what do you say, weightlifting. All this they require you to be explosive by default for the max output which you expect in the game. So like those sports they tend to bias 2x more. Even if you're not 2x biased, if you do weightlifting, you will end up being pseudo explosive at the least, So basically, your vertical might not be as high as a really explosive athlete, but it will still be freaking high compared to an ordinary guy, which is what you have to aim for, You just want to be better than the ordinary. And after that, one day you'll be like, this is not enough. I want to be extraordinary, and you'll start your growth journey yourself. I went into the gym to fix my shoulder issues. I injured my shoulder even more. And I'm like, fuck this. I want to play cricket. I played cricket. I found it's not meant for me. I found out weightlifting through this one channel on YouTube, Weightlifting House. And yeah, I started lifting. I enjoyed it. I went searching for good weightlifting coach. Turns out there was no coach actually. It's all just senior players guiding the juniors. I got one coach, mm, one senior as a coach over there. He gave up on me, but another senior took me under his wing, and now I'm riding with him. So, and the thing is, I've absolutely enjoyed whatever I have done till date. So it's more of a like for me, I'm enjoying the process of weightlifting more than whatever I dream to achieve in weightlifting. I have high dreams in every pursuit that I start. But the thing is, putting that aside, are you enjoying the journey is what uh, makes the sport valuable. So building muscle builds strength, and strength is good to have. There is, no one died because of having more strength. So yeah, now like we discussed about types of muscle, right? Type 1, the slow twitch, like highly enduring muscles. Type 2x, as I said, they are explosive and they are lazy. They can't work for more than 4 or 5 reps. 6 reps at most, actually. I don't know why people say rep range 1 to 6, rep range 6 to 12, and all. It should be more like 1 to 4. And after that, it trains your work capacity, and like, yeah, you can build good amount of muscle in all rep ranges, but please try to stick to a 6 to 12 rep range, because you need good work capacity to be actually top notch. Though actually being strong as fuck feels good. Don't try to max out. That's what I keep telling myself. I enjoyed myself trying to max out. So it's a hard earned lesson. Especially powerlifting might spare you if you try to max out carelessly, but weightlifting it's punishing. All I heard was a pop, and now I can't do cleans or front squats or push press. Push press is one of my most favorite lifts, and I can't do it. Thankfully, you know, I wish I learned something from this, but I'm not sure. And yeah, you can do a whole bunch of training. So yeah, you should have a balance of strength training to train your 2x and 2a, and you should also have a bunch of type 1 training so that you build endurance and all. It's never too bad to be able to run too far, and it's never too bad to be able to carry more stuff at the same time. So why not do both? So, like, we are done with this muzzle talk and all. Now let's come to the aspects. Genetics, they matter a lot, at the highest level. But at the beginner level, Other than genetics, you can dial in your nutrition, you can dial in your workouts, what you're doing, what exactly. Don't like, I have this habit of doing unnecessary exercises or in the wrong order, so I get a lot of junk volume and unnecessary fatigue. So if you're a beginner, you have to know what is fatigue, how to manage it, what is volume, what is junk volume, how to avoid junk volume. Like, I realized I could finish my workouts in less than 30 minutes because my father started to take me late to the gym. And then I realized I can actually get more results in these 30 minutes. I used to get a bag fully pumped in 30 minutes. There were days where I spent 3 hours in the gym from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the night. And I felt like I did nothing. Although that was in my learning phase where I was watching people do stuff like deadlifts and all. Funny enough, the first time I deadlifted 100 for 3, and I could not lift 105 or 110 for like what, 2 months. It's a flat line. I started it, I started 40, 60, 80, 100. And after that, I could not move my deadlift. Right now, it's stuck somewhere between 140 and 150. Depends on my body's mood, the barbell's mood, and lot of factors. So fatigue, you have to recover from fatigue. So the concept that exists is recovery. What helps in recovery? Good diet. There are a lot of ratios. Two times your body weight in kgs, or 1 gram per pound of muscle, per pound of body weight or whatever. Which freedom units you use? Chill. I'm fine with that. You use non-freedom units, also great. And there is this another calculation that I had. What are you want your goal body weight to be? Let's say you are 80, I'm 80, and my goal body weight is 75. So the amount of protein that I should consume should be my goal body weight into 2. So 75 into 2, not 80 into 2. 160 would be overshooting. I don't know what's the logic behind that, but yeah, anything above 120, 130 grams, it works. Unless you're doing a cut or a recomp where high protein actually helps a lot. And protein as a food is very satiating. You can't eat a bunch of protein in a single meal. I mean, the limit of absorption, there are some studies that say your body can't absorb more than 40 grams, and some other studies that say it can actually absorb infinite amount of protein. We don't know, but the thing is, it's hard to eat that amount of protein in a single sitting. Divide your protein intake into 3 or 4 separate meals at least. Otherwise, you'll end up like me. Let me tell you, at one point, my diet was 30 grams of protein in the day, 30 grams in the afternoon, 50 grams in the evening. Now I have hit 110 grams, right? I used to come home, I used to get another 36 grams force fed into my body. And I kept on with it for quite some time before I gave up. It's literally hard. 30 grams every meal. That's actually hard for me. Because I'm bad at cooking or bad at planning meals. Otherwise, it was actually pretty dope, you know. Especially, I'm a vegetarian and all my protein sources biased towards dairy. So, a lot of milk and milk based products. And I don't demonize fats at all. I'm like, consume fats how much ever you want, consume carbs how much ever you want. You know, that's one bad habit. If you want to get lean, control that. I'm telling this myself because in future I may watch my own stream and I reflect on my reflection, which is being reflected to you, which is a very, 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 very reflexive thing to talk about reflexively. So I'm just reflexed and perplexed about this reflexivity of reflections. A lot of bullshit has been spotted. So yeah, get your diet nailed in. That's the final conclusion. And another thing that helps recovery: sleep well. Don't stay awake watching my streams at 1:30 unless you're from the US or some other side of the globe. If you're from the other side of the globe, there are much better people to refer than me. Why are you watching me? So probably no one is watching me from the other side of the globe. Wow. Okay, great to know. Yeah, so sleep well, eat well, work out well. Those three things, they set you up for a golden path. Nothing can stop you if you get those three things right. A lot of concentration it takes to drink this without spilling. Yeah. So yeah, we discussed about the muscle types, what muscle technically does. Like our body, you know, from a mechanical perspective, it's just a bunch of levers and ropes with tension and like all interconnected stuff. Biomechanical impulse, I get the electronic pulse and my brain sends a signal. Immediate contraction. So yeah, nothing much. I need to end this stream and check if my audio is working because I don't know. I never tried. And also, I think I'm very aggressively peaceful because the most peaceful song in my playlist would be from Doom Eternal. The game. It's a 3 48 long playlist. 3 or 48 minutes or something. Let me check actually. Yeah, 3 or 38 minutes. Okay, and that's the most peaceful playlist of all the songs that I have. And bunch of chaos combined together. I don't know my own entropy. But yeah, like, so with all this in mind, by the end of the year, I'll be snorting a lot of sugar whilst losing weight or being lean. I'll be competing with better numbers, hopefully, and I'll also be doing some projects, or at least finish some of the projects that I've thought of right now. So there's like a lot of ambitious stuff to do in just 9 more months. So for two of the projects, I have literally 3 months, and one more task I have like 4 months. And after that, I think my gym physique change and everything that I'm planning, recomp and all. If I recover from my injury and start it well, it will take up to at least 6 to 8 months to start showing proper results. So like, yeah, end of the year is a good time to check our progress. 31st December 2026 would be a great day indeed. By the way, I don't drink alcohol. Alcohol very bad. It hurt recovery. And yeah, like you can try different sorts of diets if you want. You have intermittent fasting, you have keto diets, or you have high carb diets. Actually, let me tell you the optimal kind of diet: high protein, high carb, moderate fat, high moderate fiber. So it helps you with your gut microbiome, it helps you with your digestion, and it helps you with your processing, bowel movement, and everything. And you get good energy supply for your muscles, assuming you're lean. Okay, if you are fat, reduce your carbs, maintain protein. and reduce your fat, Actually, I don't think changing fat affects much, Like, yeah, instead of high carb, high protein, I would say moderate carb, moderate protein, moderate fat, high fiber, So fiber and protein, they are very filling, You can't stuff yourself forcefully. Carbs, you can stuff yourself when you start enjoying them. You can eat 200 calories of chips and feel like your stomach is still empty, but you can't force yourself to eat 200 grams of protein for that. You will die before you get to the first 30 grams. Live experience. I used to drink 2 scoops of whey protein mixed with cold water. Once the water got a bit uncold, that's it. It's a disaster. That was always meant to happen. Right now, I'm putting myself awake through drinking this, basically through a sugar rush. Because, yeah, I hate my recovery, but definitely the sky is beautiful star. There's no sky up, it's just ceiling. So, like, yeah, everyone should do powerlifting, but I would like more people to start doing weightlifting. Though the sad part is, there are not much people to coach. Coaching in weightlifting, we are going through a scarcity because there are more people trying to do weightlifting than more people teaching it. Weightlifting feels more like a niche genre of a gym sport, gym based. Like bodybuilding is the most popular one, and the second favorite child, like bodybuilding, weightlifting, powerlifting. So bodybuilding has been there for a very long time. We liked aesthetic physics from a long time, so like we have been biased towards bodybuilding, and then weightlifting was just a circus show that somehow became an official Olympic sport, and people didn't care much. And powerlifting is the youngest child of the three, and it is much more popular, compared to weightlifting because it's also easier to do. So bodybuilding is like the oldest child, so everyone respects it. Powerlifting is the youngest child, so everyone cares about it. And weightlifting is the middle child. People somehow always forget it out of conversation. I am referred to as a powerlifter half the times. Then I have to sit and explain them what powerlifting is, what weightlifting is. And even then, at the end of the day, the question I'll get asked is, so how much do you bench? I say 65 kgs. That's also my clean and jerk, best clean and jerk in comp, which barely passed because I don't know. Somehow my clean and jerks were not up to the mark in that competition. Yeah. So my district went great, and so did my university. My state it got ruined somehow. I had no one guiding me by the time I was in state. But yeah, it's still a great experience. Comp experience is some of the best experience you can get in the sport. Training will be very mundane, very boring, very brutal half the days. You literally want to go home and lie down just to realize you still have accessories to do. But yeah, comp, the satisfaction you get at the comp, it's worth it. I guess I can end this stream. Not that bad after all. This is a better stream. This is actually really no nonsense compared to the other ones. The last one, where I was yapping unnecessarily. But one thing I want to keep in mind is, like You can do all this shit, and even then, it takes time to see results. I just want to fast track it, but yeah, whatever. Should I share my screen? Let me check. Eh, Also, share tab audio. Share. Yeah, wow, this is so good. Yeah, so this is the most favorite song I have recorded. What is this? Actually, I don't have the copyrights, so yeah, like let's stop it over there. I'm too broke to pay for stuff like that. Like, what else can I share actually? Application window. Oh wow, your entire screen. Oh yeah, it's actually a good option. Cancel. YouTube is pretty dope at this point. Then this would make my streaming actually much more easier in a way. I need to do a demo private screening of this, and then verify whether it's actually good or not. But yeah, that marks the end of the stream because I'm feeling sleepy and I don't want to do stuff. I just want to get sloshed over a bunch of soda. I'm capable of getting drunk purely on soda. In the sense, I drink soda before I sleep. Some people call it sparkling water, but whatever. Anyways, bye bye.